So once I've got my Citrix workstation up and running, if I click on it, I'll either get a file downloader that I have to click on to start it, or it just starts. And I'll click on my CFEN's desktop. Now this will spin up a instance of a Windows 10 computer, and I'll log in using my X500. And then I'll want to be very careful on how I load the data and use the data, because it'll load a L drive in this virtual computer, and I don't want to work off that L drive. I don't want to access files from Arcgis that are in that L drive directly. I want to copy them to my local machine, usually here on the desktop. Otherwise, latency in the internet connection may well crash not only the work I'm doing, but it might corrupt the data that I'm working on. Now, this can sometimes be slow in loading and starting because the internet speeds might be slow. Right now, there's a bunch of processing going on. But once you get the data to the ArcGIS instance, it should be fine. So here it starts up. If I click on this File Explorer, it will eventually ask me, do I want read-or-write access? And then load here in the File Explorer on this PC a bunch of drives. It might take a second for that to happen. And the one we're most interested in is the one on the bottom, this L drive, or near the bottom. Most of these others are drives connected locally to my hardware here, so it's the computer where I'm working. I want to save my data permanently on these drives, or onto a Google Drive, or back onto the L drive. But while I'm working, I want to save the data locally, and I usually just save it onto my desktop. So if I look here in this shared drive, the CFAN, so I'll double left click, I see that there's ESPM 4295W or 5295 depending upon the course. And if I look in that 4295W, I find that there is a data directory. And in there we'll be placing data, various data sets for you to use. Again, I have to go in here in File Explorer, and typically what I'll do is I'll copy these data. So I might click on it and do a right click, so do left click on right click, and then I'll do a copy. And I'll go to my desktop, and over the desktop I will just paste to those data. And so my data get copied here onto my desktop fairly quickly, and that access is just once. Now, having done that, I can go ahead and start Arc. And this will take a second, and I'll have to authenticate it with my X500 again. Arc tests to make sure I'm not cheating, so I'll use my ArcGIS organizational URL. I'll type UMN, because that's our URL, and say continue. And then it'll ask me for the X500 if I left click again on that blue bar, and I'll type that in, hopefully right the first time, but maybe not. And then sign in, click to sign in. It'll send me one of these pushes from Duo. And when I OK that, it eventually starts up ArcGIS. So here I have an ArcGIS instance started, and I can go ahead and open a new project. Now maybe a bit slow to load for you. For me, it varies on internet speed, but we eventually get there. And so in the map, I can add data, and I want to add data from my desktop or the local drive. I do not want to add data from this L drive, because if I add data from the L drive, I can be in a lot of trouble with latencies in the system. Arc often gets confused. And so if I go to the desktop and go to my practice areas geodatabase, I can load data from that geodatabase. So here I'm going to load the land digitizing area. And if I say OK, it will load those data. So you have to make sure you work on a local copy, not an L drive copy. I might do some analysis here and do a bunch of stuff. When I'm done, if I save my data or change anything, I can get out of Arc. And then I have to make sure that once I've saved whatever I've saved, I'm saving it into my local drive here, and that I copy this, again using File Explorer, back out to some location. So I go back to the desktop, And in that desktop, I copy the new data wherever I've created it, wherever I put it, back to one of these drives. So I want to copy it either to the L drive, although it's more likely you're better off saving it in the L drive. By the way, I can in the share copy it, or you'll have one that shows up as your individual space. But most likely, if I'm working from the same computer, a laptop, one of these hard drives, these fixed drives, will be a place where I can save the data quickly. And then I don't even have to worry about the L drive in between when we give you new data, because you'll just be working and creating on your own local data sets. Now, it is good to periodically save the data to the L drive in your space, or to the Google Drive, or to multiple other locations as backup. And you should do that quite frequently, because you will lose data during this course. But the key point is, don't load data into Arc directly from this L drive, and work on that L drive back and forth. You may be able to get away with it, especially early in the semester, but I guarantee you, if you load data from the L drive here into an ArcGIS project and are working on it, sometimes during the semester, you'll lose that data, and you may corrupt your entire geodatabase that you're working on. So make sure you're working on a copy, and make sure you copy that data back. Now, once you're done, you also have to make sure that you turn off the machine. So this Control-Alt-Delete you access by clicking here, this arrow at the top, and then that signs you out and releases the resources for other people. If you just quit and turn off your browser, but don't sign out, it stays, that virtual machine stays for 15 minutes or a half hour or an hour. You may not be able to access it, but it's still using resources. So do everyone a favor, including yourself if you're going to log back in 10 minutes, and make sure that you sign out using this down arrow at the top, and then it signs you out and you go back.